when you're feeling alone, but you're desiring others, there's a lot of complex emotional energy that's kind of forming around that. So just to bring some clarity into that, there's this feeling of, I was going to use the word betrayal, but it's actually not betrayal. It's just heartbreak. That's all it is. There's this feeling of heartbreak. And the heartbreak is having people hurt you or not just take your feelings into consideration. And this heartache really is, it doesn't always have to be like a someone did this really bad thing. It's the feeling of being taken for granted, the feeling of being a martyr, the feeling of feeling sacrificial, the feeling of once you go to get your boundaries or once you go to have better dynamics, now you're all alone. So there's this feeling of feeling lonely, but then craving others. And so all of this is coming up. There's like issues of self-isolation. There's this feeling of wanting to cleanse. You're trying to nurture yourself. You're trying to do all of these things, but at the same time, you feel like lonely and by yourself. But there is this feeling of new opportunity, okay? There is this feeling of seeing things for what they were. But in order to get there, you got to actually do that. So when you are feeling lonely like this, when you're feeling like everyone that you cared about has left you and they treated you whatever type of way, or just, it doesn't even have to be someone treated you so bad, just taking you for granted, or, you feel forgotten, that kind of stuff, it happens. Everybody has their own life that they're living. So you're not going to be their top priority. They shouldn't be your top priority. So when these things happen, it should just let you know that it's time for an adjustment. You just adjust where you place these people in your life. Now, if you or they have put each other up on a pedestal, this could be romantic, this could be friendship, this could be community. If y'all have done that, this is going to feel really tough, because you might be someone really important for this person. They might be somebody really important for you, but unfortunately, in order for you to heal, in order for you to find wholeness, in order for you to go into, life feeling good and not just feeling like you're being like pulled down, you have to find, better ways. And people aren't gonna like that. And it's not because people are like, oh, this person is so bad and so toxic. No, it's not that. It's just the dynamics. And when you change the dynamics, that's when people get bad and toxic. And that's the sad thing about the whole situation, is that in your heart, these people are not bad people. You know that in your heart. You can feel that. You're not a bad person. But once anybody starts to make changes, that's when you're going to see the worst sides of them, or they may see the worst sides of you. And that just means that the dynamics of y'all should have been different. And as you're cleansing, as you're kind of moving away from things, when you go back into dynamics with people, you have to learn it's not the same things, because that probably felt really good. Let me tell you, back in the day, it would be so easy to make a friend. You would see somebody and then y'all would just like force yourselves to talk all the time, especially if you live near each other. And if you're young, you might have things in common. You might be in college, you might be in high school, you might be working, you might want to go out, you might want to do this, you might be dating, blah, 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 blah. So it was really, forced. And in those kind of dynamics, there was a lot of stuff that came out. Group trips, vacations. You might be invited to their family functions. They're invited to your family functions. So there was a lot of high moments that came, or just spending time together. It doesn't even have to be like that social, but it can be. But there were also things that could have been happening at the same time. You cannot force someone to be in your life. They shouldn't force to be in your life. The first day you meet someone, whether it's love or friendship, and you have a good time, is not an indicator if y'all will be in each other's lives forever. What is an indicator is that you all consistently are good for each other in each other's lives, that you all are consistently showing up, so that, maybe when you're going through a hard time, this person is not adding to it. When you're going through a good time, it's nice to know that you can celebrate with this person. What people also need to learn is this: when you're going through a hard time, a friend is not a bad friend because they are choosing not to listen to you all day. The same on the other side. You're not a bad friend because you need your boundaries and you need your peace. It is okay for a friend to share their discomforts, okay? So it's not the other side either, which is, I don't want to ever talk about anything negative at all. We got to only talk about happy things. No. But if there is a pattern, the pattern being that you feel so, or they feel so comfortable with you, or you feel comfortable with them, that they're your go-to person when you're having a difficult time, that's too much. You got to spread that out. People in your life, when you're with people, or when people are with you, so I'm talking about when people put it on you too, it might feel nice to feel needed, but you got to realize that people will put you like, oh, that's the caring person, so I'm going to always talk to them about that. Or that's the person for this or that. No, you got to spread the risk, because sometimes people need to hear an opinion that is not what they want to hear. Like, oh, why is this not working? Well, you've been complaining about it and you're not doing anything. Mixed in with, hey, give yourself grace. That's where those weird dynamics are coming from when it comes to people. And dating wise, what happened here is this feeling of like, looking at someone and you invest time, and so you're assuming because you invest time in somebody that it means something more than what it is, okay? It's just not. People have free will. Like, there's many people that you could date, many people that you could be with, and it could be completely fine. You don't have to get hung up on this one person. You should just know that, or you should work towards learning that the dynamics is what matters. I think it's more important of how you troubleshoot in a relationship than it is with your friends. Like, yes, in all relationships it matters, but I come from the generation where we treated our friends like a relationship, where we were going through the ups and downs with these people, okay? And the issue with that is then you could put the actual romantic relationships on a pedestal. It shouldn't be this hard, because if you're doing this just for your friends, imagine, like all of this, you're hoping that the relationships will be easier. But there's also this kind of vibe of you're kind of non-problematic. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting from you. You're kind of non-problematic, and that's also tough too. That could be a feeling of loneliness too, because when you're not problematic, you're easily forgotten. And I'm not saying that to encourage you to be problematic. I'm telling you that people react and respond to the people in their lives that are stimulating them the most emotionally, whether that is good or bad for them. So when you're non-problematic, the good thing is that people will have good memories of you. The bad thing is you may not be the person they remember. They may not remember your birthday. They may not remember this. They may not remember that. And so that should indicate to you if they should be in your life or not. So I'm saying all of this to say, remove yourself from those toxic dynamics, which it indicates that you have done. But also have the discernment of understanding that your friendships do not need to be based on trauma drama. Your friendships or your relationships do not have to be based on who's going to, be there and be a therapist to each other. No. Having genuine connection with people, meaning sometimes y'all talk about difficult stuff. Sometimes y'all talk about fun stuff. Sometimes, friendships are supposed to make life easier. They're not supposed to make life harder. Or relationships are supposed to be with someone that you enjoy. And so you have to understand that not every person that you're with or that you date will be your forever person. That's okay. It's enjoy dating. You don't have to put all your eggs in one basket in this person and still enjoy it. It doesn't mean that the love is not real. You're gonna love many people in your lifetime, okay? Love, what's love got to do with it? Love is not enough. It's how consistently you show up for people and how they show up for you. The relationships too with others, like the energy that I'm seeing, like I'm getting like a lot of this, like, oh, you know, like, what's the difference between just being inconvenienced by people, so you self-isolate and like you're totally just being taken advantage of and you have no emotional boundaries? It is discernment and time. You're not going to solve any of this in a day. You're not. Because to have a good relationship with any person, no matter what kind of dynamics, it takes time. Just because the friend calls you every day doesn't mean that they are better than the friend who doesn't call you. Now, there's a caveat. The friend who calls you every day, if they are genuinely a joy to be around, they might be better than the friend who doesn't call you as much. But if the friend who calls you every day has a mixture of things, like sometimes y'all talk about good things, sometimes y'all talk about bad things, sometimes, when I say bad, I mean like, oh, you know, you just want someone to talk to you just need a vent, right? Or like, oh, you know, things that you're excited. And that's what you like. You like someone to communicate with you that consistently. You feel as though you can do the same thing. That is a good indication of a friendship. If this person communicates with you a lot, and then also it's just mostly like them venting, but you want to be communicated to a lot, it might be an indication that you like how you're being communicated to, but you can't do a bunch of the venting. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to communicate this to this person. Hey, you know, like, hey, we talked about this yesterday. I know you got this. I just can't, you know, take any more of that today. And watch what they do. It's not instantly cutting someone off because you don't like them. Watch what they do. Do they course correct? Do they start to think, oh, shoot, I didn't know I was doing that. So then they start to course correct. And over time, you'll see, do they just fall back into the venting routine where it's like more than 30% of y'all's conversations? Or are they mindful? That's how you could tell what a friend is over time, when you give it, you know, many years. Now, say the other person who doesn't talk often, but you like to talk a lot, say every time you talk to them, it's just like you feel like you're the one who has to reach out all the time. You feel like you're the one who has to maintain the friendship. Let it go. If they're not reaching out to you and they're not maintaining in the cadence that feels comfortable to them, then you need to let it go. But say they are a friend that, you know, they reach out every couple months. They genuinely care about what's happening in your life. They might even, you know, be more open to hearing like, oh, okay, how's this going? It might be genuine. It's a genuine connection. This person may not be your best friend, but this person could be an okay person in your life. So in feeling lonely, it's not about forcing yourself to be surrounded by people all the time. It's about really building the quality of relationships in your life. The same with romance. When you meet someone, you should be having a good time with them, regardless of if you all are going to be together forever. If you do end up choosing to fall in love with them, and they may or may not fall in love with you, it is still not an indication if you all will be together forever. What is an indication of y'all being together forever is that you all consistently show up in each other's life. You add value to each other's life. Life is going to happen. So there's going to be some problems that happen. And the problems aren't y'all cheating on each other. That's not the problem. The problem might be like, oh, I'm trying to figure out how to put this together in my life, and you know, or I'm, you know, it's stuff like that. It's not disrespecting each other, and seeing how you all work through that. That is those type of relationship things. That's the stuff, you know? So this feeling of loneliness can easily be fixed if you focus on quality, and quality takes time. And again, I'll give you a number. Have 1 to 5 people in your life, okay? Because no one has the time to develop really strong relationships with everyone. but then put everybody else, where they need to be. And just know that you're that for them too. They're going to be spaced out here or there, and you're going to be spaced out here or there. And if you notice that you're putting someone else above where they're putting you, just adjust. People aren't, for the most part, bad people or toxic people or so. It's just, y'all got to know that you're allowed to change who you want the love of your life to be. You're allowed to change the dynamics of your friends or who are your friends. But when you force people in your life, or when they're forcing you in their life, that's when you start to get this toxic energy. That's when you start to get like all of this bad stuff. Just give people more freedom and give yourself more freedom. So a lot coming through still, but I'm gonna leave you here.